Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Chris Glides. Today I'm here to talk about the 2025 Harley-Davidson Road Glide CVO ST. Now this bike I just got a week ago and already have 3,883 miles on it. So I really enjoy this bike. So what's different between this CVO and the last CVO that I had? So the last CVO that I had was the brand new, the new edition model. It was a 2023 and a half. And it wasn't the ST edition. So what's different with the ST? So the ST edition was made in more of the race performance mode. And so the other bike had the variable valve timing, the VVT, and this one has the high output. Both 121 engines, but this one's made a lot lighter. The other one had more luxury features and this one doesn't. So this is made with the forged carbon fiber to make the bike lighter. And it doesn't have some of the other features like rear speakers, which reduces weight. And I don't have like the remote unlock bags. And also what I noticed was it didn't come with the feature to where you can have your garage unlock and lock. And also it didn't have heated grips. And so there's some other differences, but those are the other differences are things that I noticed that I didn't need right away. I like the fact that this one comes with the cast mag wheels versus the other wheels that were spoke. These are way easier to clean, so I like that just alone. I like the color combination of this bike the most, and I like the fact that it is just dialed in for speed. Riding this bike feels like you're on a sports bike. It feels like I used to ride Hayabusas, and it feels like I'm absolutely on a Hayabusa when I'm on this bike. I feel no touring about it. This last trip that I just did totaled about 2,700 miles, and I rode from here in Maryland all the way down to Key West, Florida, and made a lot of stops at different Harley-Davidson dealerships on the way there and back. And I had a good time, met a lot of interesting people, and bonded with a lot of people, and had a lot of visits to some other spots. So some of the things that I want to change about this bike are the handlebars, and I want to put risers on there. I'll talk about the comfort things. So with the handlebars being close in, I guess it's made so that, like if you're drag racing, you're like closer down. And I did notice that, when I did get closer down on the bike, I was a lot less, I was less restricted because I was down further, but when I crouch down further, it's just like that racing position where the wind is gonna go up and over your head and give you like a better launch and make you more wind resistant. So some of the things that I took off were the smaller floorboards for the longer floorboards, and people would say, why would you take a sports racing bike and turn it into a touring bike? Well, I like the fact that it's faster. It does do the 120 that it says it's gonna do, which I've done the 120 and I've done the 113 where the other bike topped out at 113. And yeah, it's like, how often are you gonna be able to get to do that? Not very often, but when you do, you appreciate it. I like the fact that with the high output, you have more options. You're not as restricted to the type of motor work you can have done. Yeah, you're still gonna top out at 120 no matter how many thousands of dollars you put into it, unless you take the governor off. But it's just like, if somebody's bodybuilding and they wanna see how far they can take their body to the limits of size and endurance and strength. And so that's what we do with these motorcycles. They're all, even though they come with a lot, they're still basically like a blank canvas for what you wanna do. So like I mentioned, I wanna add the risers on, at least 10-inch risers, and a different set of bars. Last time I went with the Arleness risers, and I went with the Thrashin bars. Put in the comments what you think I should go with. If you're a company and you wanna sponsor me and provide a set of risers for me to review, then just contact me at chrisglides@gmail.com, and I will do the install, make a video, and I'll review them. And similar to some of the other things that I want to do is I'd love to have lowers, but it's just going to steal the look of this bike, and I want to keep it somewhat the same. Even though I'm putting touring features on it, I don't want to go like all that touring. So I'm just gonna have to deal with the situation and wear different, you know, like dress for the climate. For this trip that I just did, the 2,700 miles, I was uncomfortable without the lowers because after a while, like depending on the wind direction, when I was going in the wind, it was like blowing my legs apart from the bike, and I like to keep my legs tucked in. And so after a while with the cold air, it was like just hitting on my knees and just kind of wearing my knees down. And that was uncomfortable. The other thing is you can't have highway pegs on these flat out bars. So one of the options you could do is you could put highway pegs on the floorboards in the front after you put the standard size floorboards on and the standard floorboard bar, the front bar. Those are like $30 a piece. But the highway pegs that go under are by Ciro, and I'm not sure how much they cost. If you got a set that you didn't like and you want to donate to me, then again, same email, chrisclass@gmail.com. I'll take them. But I want to put the Ciro highway bars on, risers and T-bars. The bars that are on there now, they kind of pull in, and I have a lot of wear on my hands, and my wrists are sore, and also my right shoulder sore. And I mean, those type of miles that you dial up, that's gonna do it regardless of what you have on your bike. The seat, I rode all 3,883 miles on this same seat. And was it uncomfortable? Not the short trips, but the long trips like this one I just did for 2,700 miles, it was uncomfortable. But I think my body broke in faster than the seat did. So there's more comfortable seats out there. My back's not hurting from not having the backrest because it's deep enough, and then you have back support here on the back end of the seat. So that was fine. As far as heat from this engine, even when I was in Miami and also like in the Keys, where it's a lot warmer, I didn't hear like, you know, I didn't feel any heat, excessive heat coming off the motor. I did put heat shields on here, but it's just cosmetics because this bike just doesn't generate a lot of heat. And I like that. But when it was cold and I wanted the heat, that's why I made the heated grips a priority, because if I was on this trip without the heated grips, it would have just been impossible. So had these heated grips all the way on like the hottest level, and you know, that's what I did. Now these grips, they put some wear on your hand. I had the Harley-Davidson gloves on, and I could just still feel like the grip from the rubber part of the grips from the heated grips. And that's something that I'll always remember to stick out of my head. So I did order a different set of heated grips. I ordered the Kahuna because I think they offer a different level of softness to them. And so I'm gonna go with those. Some of the other things about this bike was, in the other model, I did add fog lights, the amber color fog lights. And on this trip, I went through the Rocky Mountains, and it was foggy, and I just didn't feel like I didn't have enough lighting. So now I know that I don't need to put fog lights on, but if I was to, I recommend the Baja Design S1 lights in amber, and you can mount them however creative you can get. But I guess that's when having that mustache bar comes in handy versus the flat out bar, is that you can mount your fog lights. And you could probably still mount a set of fog lights onto the flat out bar, but I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure somebody already has. I did put the flat out bar in the rear for the saddlebags to match, and I like that combination. This bike, I added the Wilbers performance suspension on there as a demo, and I love it. I was hitting some rough roads. The roads down in Florida are actually, they seem rougher than the roads here in Prince George's County, Maryland, and the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and also rougher than the roads in DC. There's like a lot of peeled asphalt, and then there's like these deep cracks in the road. I don't know if they're cracks or if they're just like from maybe like a tractor dragging a track on the highway or whatever it's from. But when I was on the open road, no other cars and vehicles around, and I pushed this thing to 120, I did get wobble at the end, but just looking at the video footage, the wobble came from the bike tires getting into one of those cracks on the road. And being an experienced rider that I am, I knew what to do in that situation. But if I didn't have as much experience, that would have been fatal for someone. And so it's just something to be aware of. But this bike pulls the suspension from the Wilbers Performance suspension is absolutely the best. Now, I do like having the reservoirs on the back from the Showa suspension that the bike came with. I did ride those for 1,000 miles, but I did an 800-mile trip on those, on the Showa suspension, and it seemed great, but one thing I didn't do was I didn't do the adjustments on it, so it could have been better. The Wilbers suspension that I have is for demo purposes, and would I buy them? Yes, I would buy them, but I want the reservoir look. Now, I was in a conversation or in the comments from the last review video, it was explained to me that with the canister or the reservoir, that has to heat up, and then there's time that the oil has to go from the reservoir through the tube and then into the shock, so that there's a slight delay on the performance. And no canister system would be better than a regular suspension system without the canisters. And so it just brings me to the fact that the reservoirs of the canister look, I like it because it's trending and it looks cool. So other than the cool factor, functionality, the regular suspension is what's best for the bike or what's best for whoever owns the bike. But I will tell you that it didn't, when I added those on, I was able to remove the reservoirs. I was able to put my docking hardware on because I didn't have the brackets that you would have needed to keep my reservoirs on. And so with that said, I was able to take luggage with me on my trip, even though I didn't have my tour pack, because I was able to put my luggage on the rack that the tour pack goes on and strap it on there. And it looked neat and it was fine. And it didn't take away from my fuel economy because it was still within my wind resistance. And so I did have a good time on the trip, and I used my Harley luggage, I used that rack, I strapped it on, and the bike still looked like it was a performance bike. I got a lot of comments, I got a lot of people ask me about the bike when I got down to the keys, and it's just an awesome bike. I'm glad that I chose the Rally Red color. I still don't know what to name this bike, but I have a few names in thought, and this bike just really rides like a sports bike. It just, you don't even know you're on a touring bike. It's low to the ground. I feel like it's lower than the last CVO that I had. I could stay really flat foot on it with a 30-inch inseam and being 5'10". And the bike feels like it's just made for me. Riding against other bikes, like in a speed competition or a speed match or a race, what you want to call it, I don't see any other Harleys that will beat this bike. It's so light and it's so aggressively tuned in the track mode or sports mode that it just effortlessly pulls away from other bikes in its class. I did have the 131 Stage 4, and with the weight of that bike and the weight of the rider who would race me or whatever, versus, you know, like my weight if I'm lighter. I'm pretty heavy though, but a lighter racer on this bike paired with the light performance dynamic setup on this bike, without any performance enhancements, this bike is just, it's unmatched. I'm very happy with the purchase, and I don't think I would need another performance bike. I toyed around with the idea of, I wonder if I can get one of those new double R's, but realistically, this will be the bike to get over the double R because it's fast. It's got a lot of upgrades to it as far as like the inverted front fork suspension and the Showa suspension that it comes with. Everything is like super nice. The high output and just the bike itself. I mean, there's a few slight modifications that you can do tune-wise and have this bike totally dialed in to where, would you need that $110,000 bike even if it was $57,000? I don't think so. Like this, you get the best of both worlds. You get everything in it, and whatever's not on it, you can put on it. So I'm happy with the purchase, like I said. What will I get next? I don't know. I don't know if I'll need any other Harleys unless they come out with a mid-year release something, but from this platform, I can turn it into anything else now. Like I wouldn't need a 135. Some people were buying these bikes and turning it into a 135. I don't see why you would need to, because like, you don't need to, but I guess, like I said, with my own analogy of being a bodybuilder, you just want to see how big you can get and make it. But at the end of the day, it's just gonna still top out unless you get that governor restricted. But even with this bike, I mean, at 120, it felt like it could still go another 30 or 40 or 50 more miles an hour. Whereas the other bike at 113, it actually like just shut the bike down at that speed. And this, I didn't get it to cut off at all. It just pulled and pulled and pulled. And the sound of this bike, I don't know, I know that it has a larger cam in it, but I have to question, like, are these the regular headers that come with these Harley motorcycles, or are they different? Because the only thing I've done was I've added the Tab 50 cal exhaust, the slip-ons, and I've done that to so many other bikes on this show. And the sound is like so much more aggressive than the other Road Glide that I just had prior to this. The sound is aggressive, it's loud, and it's like, if you don't have earplugs on, you're gonna be having some ear ringing for like 2 days, and you're gonna be hearing like motorcycles that aren't even there. You're just gonna be dreaming about revving. But if the saying goes, loud pipes save lives, loud pipes save lives, like this thing is loud. So, but it's a beautiful loud sound. So those Tab 50 cals, man, shout out to Tab Performance. So what's next for this bike other than the bars and the floorboards and the other heated grips? I do have the Tour Pak coming. I do have the Lapera seat coming. I do have the Lapera backrest that I'm gonna add on there. I didn't get a King Tour Pak because I didn't know how the King Tour Pak would look with the shorter style bags. Will I be keeping the Wilbers suspension on? I believe that I have to give them back because they're a demo. Now, if they said I could have them, oh, I'd gladly keep them. I think they're gonna be about $1,500. But these are a test phase suspension, and they're gonna be worth every bit of that, because like I was hitting bumps on the highway that would normally like take me off of my seat, or like really bottom the bike out, or like make you feel like what the heck's wrong with the suspension. But with those Wilbers Performance shocks on the back, I didn't feel anything. I felt like I was in a luxury car. Like I said, I went from here to Miami the same day. Like I left at 5, I got to Miami at like 12. And that was like 1,100 miles, but I was comfortable with the performance of the bike and the way it handled on the road with those Wilbers Wilbers Performance suspension. And I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think it's Wilbers Nevomat or something like that. I'm just probably butchering the name, but thanks a lot again. Shout out to Stefan from Stefan's Garage for getting me hooked up with this suspension kit before my trip. And with those reservoirs, I wasn't able to put my docking hardware on. So he recommended that I use the suspension, try it out, and it would give me the opportunity to put my docking hardware on, to put my Tour Pak rack on, and then be able to put my luggage on top of that until my Tour Pak came in. I do want to continue reviewing the suspension while I'm riding 2-up. So I'm just waiting for my second part of my seat and also my Tour Pak. And I could actually do the 2-up review. But there was no bottom out time on the bike, and it was so comfortable, like I was falling asleep. So This thing is built for comfort. That Wilbers suspension is awesome. The bike is filthy right now. Sometimes you just gotta get out and take a long road trip and get your bike really dirty with bugs. And so it's gonna be a task trying to clean this thing. So I'm not looking forward to that, but when I do, I use the Meguiar's soap. It's got the wax in there and stuff like that. And I use the Meguiar's Ultimate Shine Wax Spray. And so I love the Meguiar's products. And so this is not a plug for Meguiar's, but hey, Meguiar's, you're doing big things. So, all right guys, I love this bike. I highly recommend it. The CVO ST is so much better than a regular CVO. And I hope I'm not angering anyone by saying that, but I always tell the truth here on this channel. I dogged people out for trading in their regular CVO for the CVO ST, and I just couldn't understand why, but now I do. It is a different machine, and I didn't know what they meant by saying that, but if you get a chance to test ride one, then test ride it and you'll understand. But as they said in the movies, Bad Boys, test ride the hell out of it. It's gonna withstand it. So here I am, I'm at 3,883 miles, and I couldn't give this bike more kudos. I'm so blown away by it. I can't stop thinking about it. I've been dreaming about this bike since I've been off of it. And I just don't even know what to name it. It's Rally Red, color-wise, but the name-wise, it's just a beast. It's such a beast that I just can't come up with a hard enough name. So I thought about naming her Sparta, like Spartans, but Sparta. And it's just such a gladiator, such a beast, such a killer, that it wouldn't be a name that would be more appropriate for it. And man, if you're on a regular Harley and your bike doesn't go over the 120 and it's just not gonna pull because it's too much weight on it, don't waste your money racing it, because this thing is fast. So, but anyway, sitting here promoting speed now, but I'm gonna get some rest, guys. It's been a long trip. I did like 40 hours of riding in a few days. So with about a total of 9 hours sleep. But I love this bike, and I can't wait to take more rides on it. So that's all I have. I hope to see you in a city near you. I'll be on the road with this thing as much as I can. I met some really good people all up and down the Southeast this past week, and it was a pleasure meeting you. And if you're new to the channel, please come back, subscribe, and I'll see you again. I'll see you somewhere. I'll see you at a Harley-Davidson dealership, or we'll run into each other at the weirdest place. But stay tuned, because who knows where we're gonna go next. See you. Thanks for watching Chris Glides. Take care.